Clash in Paris Hot Takes, where I take your thoughts, your opinions, your hot takes from Clash in Paris, Monday Night Raw, and or SmackDown. And my hot take on Clash in Paris is that every Clash in needs to happen in England. Clash at the Castle, somehow, some way, it needs to be in England. Just like all crown jewels, for some reason, I feel like they need to be in Saudi Arabia. I don't make the rules, it's what my gut says. And let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree. Paris can have their own PLEs, just not a Clash at or a crown jewel. They feel like geographically located somewhere else to me. All right, so let's get going with the who's the fourth man? Who's the fourth man? Becky, the man, is the fourth man, and let's see what people are saying. Diamond says, Becky being shackled to this faction killed the only interesting thing the women's division had. Now we're just going to have her and Seth versus Punk and Bella over and over. Ooh, that's a decent point, actually. That's a decent point. Becky in the women's division was very fresh, especially because we lost Naomi. Now, it does look like Bayley might come in and freshen things up, liven things up. And I guess there's Alexa. There's Alexa and Charlotte, too, and Chelsea Green's always a joy to watch. But I get what you're saying. Is this great character that Becky has developed over the last couple months, is she going to be, like, just absorbed into Seth's group? I think there's potential. There's high potential for Becky to add to it, but you know what? Based on the Vision's track record, they brought in Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, and almost just sucked the entire personality out of them. Thankfully, Bronson stole Roman's shoes and got his personality back. So I see what you're saying. Now there is a chance that Becky's not even part of the group. What if Seth called Becky and was like, hey, Becky, I need your help because the guys, they're not here. And so what if they just show up on Raw and they're like, yeah, she was just helping me for the night. You know, that's what husband and wives do. But nah, she's probably part of the group. We shall see. We got Alfonso Passion says, I'm not really sure or caring as much as I thought I was of Becky joining. Honestly, they should have had Theory. I do agree it should have been Austin Theory or Ethan Page or Carmelo Hayes or Ilya Dragunov. But I do know that a lot of people a couple months back were saying it should be Becky. She should be the fourth man. And it doesn't seem like people are thinking that anymore. Maybe it's a case of be careful what you wish for. But I would say at this point, it couldn't be Austin Theory. Honestly, I don't think Bronson Reed should have joined this group. It should have been Seth Rollins, Bron Breakker, and then a skinnier guy. Bron Breakker could have played the part of Batista, and the skinnier guy could have played the part of Randy Orton. But now that they got this big, huge dude, Bronson Reed, the next person I thought had to be big and huge as well. And that limits your choices. But by going the complete opposite route, Becky, that's like a wild card choice. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, Sup says, I really do not like the ending of the show. Austin Theory, Ethan Page, Ricky Saints should have been the fourth member. But other than that, I really like the show. Again, it's just the fact that, could you imagine them adding Austin Theory after Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed? What would be the point of an Austin Theory? I get it. I get what the actual point is from just a, not a kayfabe perspective, but kayfabe-wise, Bronson Reed was too big of a choice. When I say big, I mean just a big man. And so Austin Theory, it would have been weird for them to put in Austin Theory, especially when they keep saying, Bron Breakker, you're the guy. So I don't know. I think this was a darned if you do, darned if you don't situation, but we shall see. I am worried, though, that Becky, she loses her personality in this whole process, because she didn't lose the Intercontinental belt, which I think she should have. We'll get into that later. The belt that I want to lose, though, is the belt on my shoulder. I want to lose this belt, no joke, because I'm going to give it away at 20,000 subscribers. So 2 more thousand, I lose it, and it could be to you. How do you win said belt on my shoulder? All you got to do is comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, ding, 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 notification, and you can win said belt right here. All right, next hot take. Fresh and Fly says Cena is just starting to cook in his matches and we have 8 left. I wish he didn't turn heel and we got this all year. Abso-freaking-lutely. They even said in the Unreal documentary, we're on the last page of my career. We can't mess it up, could we? Well... Congratulations, Triple H, you messed up the last page of the book. Alfonso Passion says, that's weird, Chop. I actually liked Rusev versus Sheamus. He's probably referring to my review, which, by the way, I did not like Sheamus versus Rusev. And I believe I've been reading people actually praising the match. So maybe I'm the odd man out here. Maybe it's me that doesn't like that Rusev-Sheamus feud. You say it was hard-hitting. Sheamus always makes it real and more entertaining, engaging. So yeah, I'm not here to convince you that that your opinion is wrong, honestly. Unless you like Goldberg, then you're wrong. But you liking this match, I'm glad you did. I hope I'm the only person that did not like Sheamus versus Rusev, because I'm not so narrow-minded that I'm like, oh, everybody has to agree with everything I say. No, so I'm very happy that you enjoyed that match. I didn't, though. And so, hopefully it's just me. RKO, way to disrespect our tribal chief and put him in the first match. Your biggest star is opening the show before Rusev? What are we doing? Honestly, the saying is this. It's if you're not last, you want to be first. So honestly speaking, from the perspective of the wrestlers and a lot of people in show business, this was a good alternative. The first match of the night is the second most important match of the night, followed by the last match of the night. Najib says, I really enjoyed the Cena versus Paul match. It was better as it went on. I 100% agree. Very slow in the beginning, and I started thinking to myself, ooh, maybe John has lost a step. But no, they were just building up to a crescendo, and boy howdy, it was an amazing matchup. Then we got Navin Kumar. Now that Cena's a face, the limit of appearances doesn't apply. He can appear more times than scheduled. That is correct. As a face, he can be like, I can just show up every week now. However, someone did reply to you. It was Q1TM, and he's like, that's not how contracts work, my guy. And that's true. John has probably said, I will show up to this amount of dates. Now, John Cena in the past has actually worked more than he was supposed to. There was one summer where John Cena he got a month off and he didn't tell anybody. He said he was just going to work 1 month of house shows. No TV, no nothing. He just wanted to work house shows because he loved wrestling. So there is a chance that, John Cena could do that, but his schedule's a lot busier now, so I don't think he is. I think you are right. Kayfabe-wise, he doesn't have to only show up for 8 more. But I think the real world is going to encroach, and we're not going to get more than what he is obligated and said he would do. I wish he would, though, because I'm loving this John Cena now. We wasted so much time on that stupid heel turn. C. Antoine Hill says AJ Lee is coming for Becky. Oh boy, I would love that. AJ Lee is like one of my favorites. She is one of my favorites. She was like stuck dab in the middle of the Divas division, or the Divas era, and the Women's Revolution. I felt that she was more Women's Revolution than Diva, but she spent way more time as a Diva. And I would love to see her back. Hawk Me Over 9000. Dude, you look so much like Taz. More than his son. LOL. I'll take it. I usually get compared to Paul Heyman, and while I love Paul Heyman, the GOAT on the microphone, I'd rather look like Taz than Paul Heyman. No shade, Paul. Azriel says, Becky is the worst. Nah, the worst? That's Goldberg. Tiz Mickey says, I, for the life of me, cannot understand why they spent the first hour of the show on a Roman beatdown. Well, it was a good beatdown. It was, Was it an hour? Was it an hour? Like, it did seem to go on for a very long time. It did seem like wow, that's that should be the end. That should be the end of the show, and yet it's here right in the beginning. I do like, though, that Jay did come out. I do like that Jay came out, but yeah, so, like, I guess when you put it like that, it was an epic beatdown. Bronson Reed got over. I mean, Roman Reigns won, but then Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker did get over. I'm glad if they're going to make Roman leave for a couple weeks, I'm glad it was at least it's a justified, I can't come to TV for a while because I'm hurt. But the let's hurt Roman so he can be gone for 3 weeks storyline is getting a little old. I understand. What else can they do? Because, Roman also has a contract that says he can only appear a certain amount of dates, but it's harder for Roman because it's like, Roman, why are you leaving for 3 weeks after they just stole your shoes? It seems like kayfabe-wise, Roman should want to be back as soon as possible. So yeah, this is just one of those situations. I don't know what to tell you, Tiz Mickey. Maybe they could have sped it up a little. But I think everybody did get over. So there's that. But other than that, I really enjoyed the main event. I love that the storytelling, and I love that neither Jay nor LA Knight got pinned. Yeah, surprise. Wasn't LA Knight there in order to take the pin? So happy about that. And Becky and Seth together seems interesting. I'm actually kind of excited to see where this goes. Yeah, so am I. There's high potential here. There's high potential for Becky and Seth. I hope this wasn't just a moment for Triple H and he actually has a planned follow through on this. Because at first I was like, yeah, they could make so many stories out of this. But now I'm starting to think, did he just want some kind of big moment at the end and that's why he chose Becky? Really hope not. I hope they have something planned. Quinn Poole, that ending to the main event was straight but he said the A word. I mean, if you didn't like the ending, you didn't like the ending. I think this one's going to have to be, I'm going to have to judge it on hindsight. It'll be epic if Triple H follows through, but if he just goes nowhere with it, then it's going to be like, lame sauce. TTJC, I feel like Becky should have lost her title and gone after the world title. If she's a part of the Vision now, then absolutely she should have lost her title. I don't care if you don't like Nikki Bella, though I think Nikki Bella did a really good job. And I finally figured out why people don't like Nikki Bella, and even why I feel like she doesn't fit. It's because WWE, for the last 10 years, have told us how the women's revolution, finally, women are getting the respect they deserve. Well, who was before the women's revolution? The Divas. So WWE has kind of conditioned us for about 10 years that the Divas division was kind of was bad. And kind of was not good for women wrestling in general. And I know a lot of good things came out of the Divas era, but they've conditioned us that way. And so for now, the face of the Divas era comes to be a wrestler. It's a little off. We're like, wait a minute, haven't you told us forever now that women were disrespected in her era, but now you're saying how much of a hero she is? I think that's the disconnect we're all having with Nikki Bella, but she did a really good job tonight, and I agree with you, TTJC. Whoever fought Becky should have taken the belt off Becky if Becky is now going to go into the main event scene with the Vision, because she would have got all her heat back. Yeah, you lose the title, you get all your heat back by the end of the night, and then you go after the world title, which is vacant right now. So perfect timing for Becky to have it. And could you imagine how cool it would have been, a shot of both world championships? Side by side. I know they did it with the Judgment Day, but now you got the husband-wife combo. Light Hunter says, Rollins can't do this forever, nor is he a good champion. I think he's a good champion. Now, this championship run hasn't been, the greatest, but, his first run with the World Championship, goat of a run. So I don't know why they're not writing him better right now. They know how to write a heel Seth Rollins, and yet, yeah, it's not necessarily landing. We shall see, though. And you're right, he can't go forever. Speaking of not going forever, Damian King, Sheamus is 47 and still going at this level. Makes you wonder how much longer he can go. I think his contract is going to 51 years old. I think he's going to be 51 or 52 when his contract is up. Now, will he resign? That's another story. I mean, he's definitely in shape. He's definitely in shape and can go. I think he'll probably just sign Legends deal and fight like every once in a while, maybe come back for a feud here and there. But yeah, I think a lot of wrestlers their time is winding down. AI Riddle Room, Becky and Seth together on the screen is going to be gold. Yeah, it is. Epic Egg says Bronson Reed should have won. I understand that reasoning. You know, Bronson Reed, up-and-comer guy. Roman Reigns, he's kind of maybe 1 foot out the door, so it's like you got to put over the younger talent. But I've said this in my prediction video, I'm going to say it again. I don't think Bronson Reed needed to win. I fully understand and respect your perspective, though. And you know what? I may be wrong and you may be more right here, but I'm going to stand by what I have to say. And the fact of the matter is, him going one-on-one with Roman Reigns is a huge freaking deal, and Roman made him look super strong, super strong. This was akin to when John Cena was first trying to break into the main event scene, and he went up against Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar beat him, right? Brock Lesnar beat John Cena, but within a year, John Cena was in the main event. When The Miz was trying to break into the main event scene, he called out John Cena, the biggest dog in the yard, and John Cena beat him. But within a year, The Miz was in the main event scene. Bronson Reed, he took the shoes off of Roman, the biggest dog in the yard, and well, he lost. Plus, that beatdown after wasn't just a small beatdown. He tsunami'd him like 3 times, 2 of them locked in a stretcher. That's what people are going to be talking about. So I get why you might be like Bronson Reed should have won, but I honestly think the job of getting Bronson over, that was accomplished. Plus, we don't want Roman to just job out everything, because we want Roman to, when he does lose, it does fully elevate the next guy, which I feel should be Bron Breakker. I think Bron Breakker and who else should beat? Honestly, the only people that I think should beat Roman Reigns at this stage in his career is Bron Breakker, someone in the bloodline, maybe Jacob Fatu, maybe Obafemi. That's pretty much it. Come at me out. Jay could team up with Roman again against Braun and Bronson, but will end up like Brett and Owen, with Roman taking the pin and Jay never gets tagged in. Jay goes mental on Roman and goes full on Tribal Chief. That would be interesting. That would be a good way, you know, maybe because Jay is starting to sound and act more like the right hand of Roman once more. And if Roman and Jay were in a tag match, Roman never tags in, Jay gets mad, you're selfish, and boom, now Jay can become the Tribal Chief or become a heel. That's pretty good booking. Just 1-to-1, the Brett Owen feud. Jay Nickel TV, AJ has to come back to join Punk to take Becky out for him. All right, yeah. Daniel Kinser, great show all around. I agree. I did yawn 13 times, but most of it was for Sheamus and Rusev. I'm sorry, guys. I gave this PLE an 8, but like I gave it a high 8. This was, to me, very, very solid PLE. Malcolm Browans 6 says Bronson should have went over. I already said it, but I just wanted to shout it out again that a lot of people are thinking that way. I disagree, but like I said, already said it. We got Goat Bucky. I think the Street Profits was going to break up after losing to the Wyatt 6 again. I thought. He said I thought. He used the proper grammar. I just did it when I spoke it. I'm glad they did it. If they were to break up right now, I would almost be like, wait a second. They have 8 years together, and they're breaking up just like that. Tonight was the second time they showed any kind of hint of a breakup. Because of their long-lasting relationship, 8 years needs at least a 2-month build for a breakup, if not longer. Now, let's not do A-Town Down Under long of a break, but like I could see the final break happening in December. Like, and I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that. But we don't want to rush it. Don't rush it. So we have that moment. Let's play it out and make it happen naturally. Edward O'Banner says WWE should put security around its wrestlers. I think this is in reference to earlier in the day, Rhea Ripley was walking to her car and she was just swarmed by people. Don't do that. I get it. Hey, you chose to be famous, and I would also say that, back in the day, people were even less respectful, and I'm very surprised because usually the WWE fan base is a cool fan base, but I watched the footage, and yeah, you definitely got in her personal space, and that's not cool. Goat Buggy says, I think Logan Paul is the best heel in WWE, and I wish he would give up being a content creator and just do wrestling full time because he's awesome on the mic and he can wrestle out near anybody, 50% of the roster, which is crazy. Yeah, he's a natural. As a content creator, I will say this. I think every Wednesday he updates, he does a blog, and a lot of times there's a lot of wrestling in that personal blog of his. So if you are a fan of Logan Paul, go check out his weekly blog because it gives you a peek behind the WWE machine that we wouldn't necessarily get. But I do understand what you're saying. If he went full time, just imagine what Logan Paul could do if he did go full time. Zach the Buzzkill, are we getting an AJ return? I want it. I bet a lot of people want it. I will say that AJ has said that she's content and doesn't want to come back. I believe, don't quote me, but I believe that's what the speculation is. She just doesn't want to. But that said, I know Roxanne Perez has been trying to get her to. And Roxanne Perez is like, she views Punk and AJ as like adoptive family. Nada says, I thought the Street Profits' little argument was dumb. I think there should have been a miscommunication in the match or something. Yeah, it was kind of out of place because, like I said, this was their second time they ever showed any animosity towards one another. But the first time they did wasn't even animosity. It was more like a side glance. So for them to like just straight up argue, they've never done that before. So that was a little out of place. I do agree. We don't need to rush this. I think you're right. Maybe a mistimed spot where someone hits the other person, that could cause the conflict. And then maybe next time they fight, that's when they should be like, no, I'll go first. CNC Hustlers, the Bloodline need to come back. The question is, does Roman lead the Bloodline or does Jey Uso lead the Bloodline? Or neither, and Sami Zayn somehow does it. He beats Roman for the Ula Fala. Nana says, what if Jey gets one of the Ula Falas? Roman wore two for his uncle and his dad, a black one and a red one. Honestly, I thought when they were having the OTC 1, well, if there's an OTC 1, that implies there's an OTC 2. They could easily make Roman now the elder and Jey the tribal chief, or Jacob, or Solo, or Jimmy. It's OTW. If they do break up the Profits, I know the consensus is Montez would be the bigger star, and I don't disagree, but I think Dawkins would actually be quite successful himself as a charismatic and athletic man for his size. I absolutely agree with you. A lot of people are like, he's the Marty Jannetty, but I will tell you this, when John Morrison and The Miz broke up, everybody, myself included, we thought The Miz was the Marty Jannetty. So I'm not saying that Montez Ford is going to be Marty Jannetty, but don't be shocked if Dawkins is not either. And OTW also says, I thought it was good use of Sheamus' second ever tap out. It made sense because who wouldn't tap out in that predicament? So there's another person who enjoyed the match, it seems like. Trini McCain says, Jey Uso helps his cousin Roman Reigns' family comes first. I loved that he did. It made perfect sense too. And it allowed then Jey to have an injury walking into the main event. But no, this was good storytelling. Roman and Jey are now back aligned. So why wouldn't Jey come out and help him? So I'm very happy that they did that. It was good storytelling right there. Keep with continuity. That's all you got to do to be successful for these stories to be successful. Kenny Hudson says, my self-proclaimed super hot take is that Logan Paul is the best in the entire WWE at everything. The mic, the ring, the presence. We should all be singing, Logan, Logan Paul, Logan, Logan Paul, Logan. Hey, you know what? That's your opinion. I think Drew McIntyre is probably the best, but Logan Paul definitely has a case for it. Whether you like him as a human or not, Logan Paul in the ring, like, he's a natural. Huffing and Puffing says, second best PLE of the year, in my opinion. Doesn't top Evolution, but it had some of the best storytelling matches of the year. I can get behind that. Evolution, definitely number one, unless we're including Triple Mania, but we're not. Triple Mania was so good. Evolution, number one. Elimination Chamber or this one. You could do either or. Now, the follow-up of the Elimination John Cena heel turn, but like as a standalone PLE, that was a really good one too. Political Scientist says, how did 6 matches cover 4 hours? Well, Roman Reigns apparently got beat up for one of those hours, and then just way too much like in between time and not actual match time. Brian4292 says, the Donnybrook match cooked. I'm happy. I'm glad. I am very glad that people enjoyed that matchup. This is Realic. I don't know. Sorry. But why does Logan Paul get so much hate? Dude is a D-bag in real life, but as a wrestler, he has really taken to the business, and he can really work. He makes every program he's involved with work. Yeah, he does. This was an excellent matchup. I think some people just have a hard time separating the artist from the art, and I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I'm not saying that as a good thing. I'm saying that as a thing. Some people can literally be like, okay, he's a jerk, but I enjoy watching him, and some people can't. It's Hop says, go away, Punk. How do you really feel about him? And W Potato says, if you can spend about 60 minutes on a match and after segments, interactions, then you could have fit Dom and AJ in for 15 minutes. Absolutely agree. The crowd was starving for AJ to the point that John Cena did a style clash and everybody started singing the AJ Styles chant. So it's like, what a missed opportunity here. I know. AJ versus Dom, they need to have something for Raw as well. Not this. It should have been on the PLE. They were starving for AJ Styles. You are absolutely 100% right. They could have done it. Or take 5 minutes off of every match and give it to AJ and Dom. Very much a missed opportunity. And we already saw with Evolution, you can do 7 matches and have a really good paced show. They should have did it here. And that's it for your Clash in Paris hot takes. I appreciate every single one of you. Also, shout out to the people who are listening to this on a podcast. I haven't actually ever said this on the channel, but I've been releasing these on iTunes, Spotify, and a bunch of other podcast platforms. And there are some people who I have no idea who you are because there's no way for me to check, but they're consistently downloading this as a podcast. I just want to say hello and welcome to the Chop Nation, whoever you are. And boys, girls, you have yourselves a great day. We're going to do the Monday Night Raw hot takes tomorrow and the watch along. See ya. Bye.